You know, people are saying, oh, the Democrats are he's gonna take votes from Biden, and a lot of Republicans are pushing that narrative too, but I'm not sure that that's so.
For those of us of a certain age, the Kennedy name harks back to a time of promise, of hope, of Camelot. The Kennedy family defined the American narrative. A once beaten down minority, Irish Catholics, ascend to the heights of the American dream. And JFK and RFK's assassinations played right into that Shakespearean tragedy. But as I'm sure you already know, when it comes to history, the truth isn't always kind. The father, Joe Kennedy, ran the Irish mob. JFK got us into Vietnam. RFK tapped Dr. King's phones. And Teddy, well, let's say he never crossed that bridge when he came to it.
But on this third party, RFK has to be taken seriously, even though I think his beliefs are out there. Some of them are very dangerous, some of the anti-vax sentiment. But he has money, he's organizing, he is on the ballot in a number of key battleground states, including Nevada, 2 battleground states. But we know this, we know it from 2016. Jill Stein alone was enough to keep Hillary Clinton from winning in Michigan and change the course of the election.
So as Bobby Kennedy's son, RFK Jr., steps into the limelight as a candidate for 2024, people wondered out loud, could the Kennedy mystique again be a force in American politics?
Gathering signatures to get on the ballot.
But this ain't that kind of Kennedy. RFK Jr. not only doesn't fit into the Kennedy archetype, the Kennedy family wants nothing to do with him.
This morning, a Kennedy family feud in the national spotlight.
Hi, I'm Jack Schlossberg, and I have something to say.
Overnight, President John F. Kennedy's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, speaking out in an Instagram video criticizing his controversial relative, presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
He's trading in on Camelot, celebrity, conspiracy theories, and conflict for personal gain and fame.
Schlossberg, the son of President Kennedy's daughter Caroline, endorsing Joe Biden for president and becoming the latest family member to distance themselves from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Kerry Kennedy saying in a statement, I strongly condemn my brother's deplorable and untruthful remarks. And his nephew, former Congressman Joe Kennedy, calling the comments hurtful and wrong. And now Jack Schlossberg, the 30-year-old attorney, has spoken about his famous family on Today.
Well, I mean, I'm inspired by my family's legacy of public service. It's something that is I'm very proud of.
Now he says he wants to protect that legacy, speaking out against RFK Jr. and not pulling any punches.
I have no idea why anyone thinks he should be president.
RFK Jr. got headlines when he began to spread conspiracies that were not only without science, but threatened the safety of Americans. Skipping hand in hand with the likes of Joe Rogan, Aaron Rodgers, and the internet's underbelly, Democrats looked at him like they just woke up next to Kellyanne Conway. Kennedy also considered Aaron Rodgers as a running mate until reports revealed that Aaron Rodgers also believed Sandy Hook was staged. And with the current nationwide surge of preventable childhood illnesses, RFK Jr.'s narrative has no place on the political landscape. But the latest concern is this guy might swing enough votes from Biden to Trump with devastating consequences for the U.S. and the world.
In 2000, Ralph Nader obviously was running, and you did an interview with NBC News just a few months before the election. You said this.
There's a political reality here, which is that his candidacy could draw enough votes in certain key states from Al Gore to give the entire election to George W. Bush.
And then you wrote an op-ed in the New York Times. You wrote, Ralph Nader is my friend and hero, but Mr. Nader's candidacy could siphon votes from Al Gore. Mr. Nader dismisses his spoiler role by arguing there is little distinction between the major party candidates and that Mr. Gore is compromised on too many issues. While I admire his high-minded ideals, his suggestion that there is no difference between Mr. Gore and Mr. Bush is irresponsible.
But then RFK Jr. went one step further. He now says that Biden is a greater threat to the country than the guy who says he will institute a Christian nationalist movement, arrest his predecessor, and attack the media he disagrees with.
But do you really believe that when people talk about the threat to democracy that Trump poses, do you really think that that is an equal evil to Biden?
I mean, listen, I can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy. And the reason for that is President Biden is the first candidate in history, the first president in history that has used the federal agencies to censor political speech, so to censor his opponent. I can say that because I just won a case in the Federal Court of Appeals and now before the Supreme Court that shows that he started censoring not just me. For 37 hours after he took the oath of office, he was censoring me. No president in the country has ever done that. The greatest threat to democracy is not somebody who questions election returns, but a president of the United States who used the power of his office to force the social media companies, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to open a portal and give access to that portal to the FBI, to the CIA, to the IRS, to CISA, to NIH, to censor his political critics. President Biden, for the first president in history, to use his power over the Secret Service to deny Secret Service protection to one of his political opponents for political reasons. He's weaponizing the federal agencies. Those are really critical threats to democracy.
Donald Trump, of course.
So you understand, what Biden did was, in the middle of a worldwide emergency, ask social media to review postings that were factually inaccurate. They did the same with Alex Jones, white supremacists, and other groups who called for violence. Here's the deal, Bobby Jr. You were yelling fire in a crowded theater full of sick people, and we stopped you.
Biden has done something that no other president in history has done, which is to order media, particularly the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google, to censor his political opponents.
Okay, now you really pissed me off. The federal government did not censor you. Social media protected itself from your lies and your anti-science campaign. That was rebuked by the CDC, NIH, FDA, and 40 leading hospitals and universities. Now, Biden could have censored you, you lying sack of ivermectin, but he didn't. The world did.
Somebody has to ask him, why are you doing this? Why do you want to destroy the election and hand it to Trump?
And while some think that this might play into the hands of Trump, I'm not so sure. The Trump conspiracy world of stolen elections and January 6 mysteries might play in the hillbilly red states, but Democrats actually finished high school and college by a margin of 3-1 when compared to Trump voters. That's why you see RFK on Fox, News Nation, Newsmax, and other right-wing propaganda media. The Democratic Party isn't buying it. That's because Democrats embrace science and Republicans embrace Trump. Kennedy also said that this worldwide virus that killed tens of millions of people might have been ethnically targeted to spare Jews and Chinese people.
What the hell did you just say?
A comment he denies was anti-Semitic, yet drew a condemnation from his sister Carrie Kennedy. Kennedy said in a podcast interview that there's no shot that's safe and effective, and told Fox News he still believes in the long-debunked idea that this form of protection can cause autism. In a 2021 podcast, he urged people to resist CDC guidelines. He's a freak and the real danger to our nation. In 2000, Ralph Nader ran for president, and in Florida alone, his success probably cost Al Gore the presidency.
Everybody has an equal right to run for election. Right. If everybody has an equal right, then we're either all spoilers of one another trying to get votes from one another, or none of us are spoilers. We're not second-class citizens because we're a Green Party candidate or Libertarian Party candidate. I have no trouble with libertarians on that. Right.
Nader's right on all of his points. Gore blew it probably by not having Clinton and a 65% approval rating campaign for him. Nader's candidacy, like RFK Jr.'s, is legit in that they both campaign within the laws. But what's different today is what Trump is saying out loud. If RFK is serious that Biden is a greater threat to our freedom, then I dare him to say it if Trump wins. Trump has promised to arrest political opposition, the media, and even to never leave office. The Kennedy family mystique goes all the way back to World War II and JFK's PT-109, and the family has endured countless tragedies. They were my heroes as a kid, but they'll all seem insignificant compared to what will happen should Trump again have power. RFK's twisted rhetoric and unfounded attacks on Biden will be used by Trump to gain that power and destroy our democracy. Ironically, the greatest tragedy to the Kennedy family may be yet to come.
Time to pack it up.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Who's with me? This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Am I wrong?
Damn right.
Yes.
Tick-tock. You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
Follow, like, and please subscribe to Really American, where we keep you up to date on the latest Republican cult lie in this very important year. Hey, and make sure you join us as a member on Patreon, where we can connect directly with you and enable us to expand, make more videos, and hire more hosts. Can't do it without you. For Really American,
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.